Hello everyone, and today we have a video about the Golden Kingdom, and we will start off with the skills that you can take. There are all sorts of new skills, and here you have the core skills. You always want the AoE skill because that's simply the best, and the other one can even worsen your skill. I think there was like the single target or the normal attack skill, and you cannot reach the maximum level. It's very hard. So let's start with S tier skills. Anchor is really good. Maybe the best skill in the game because your enemy is already 10% units down in comparison to you. So I always take this skill when I can choose it, and this is my first priority skill. Okay. Next up is the War God's Protection, and you get a shield on all your troops, which absorbs like 1,000 damage factor. So this skill is very good because you take almost no damage in fight against the green dudes, and you do want to fight them. And this skill is very good in combination with uh, the shield skill, like you see here. In fact, there's a triple combination. We had the last skill, this skill, and the next skill. And now when you have a shield, you also deal 20% extra damage with this skill. And with the next skill is when you start the battle, you also gain 1,000 rage. And your 1,000 rage gains 20% of damage from the last skill we had, from the middle skill. So this is a head start that will almost bring you victory in like 15 seconds. The next most OP skill is Influential Leader, which increases your troop capacity. The legendary ones are of course the best, and then the purple ones, and then the blue ones. And why you need these? Well, it is because if you have more troops, you deal more damage and you take less damage. Next skill is your sixth March, and that is really good because you deal basically more damage and the fight will be over even quicker. So this is a skill that if I have the option to take, I usually take it, except if there is one of the previous skills in the beginning, most likely. Science Engravening is really good because you get like 300% damage per one of your March skills basically every single time. So this is an insane amount of extra damage on your troops. Like it's a 20% chance, which is not a lot, but triggers like 5 times a battle maybe. This skill is about the same strength. It gives you 50% more skill damage, which is really solid, and that is why it is the last S plus tier skill. Moving on to the S tier, the regular S tier, we have Festival of the Sun, which lets you take less damage. And the reason why this is good is because when you take less damage, your troops last longer and you don't need to heal. On a side note, I would only take this skill if it were in your first few levels, like before level 4 or before level 8. Level 8 is the maximum. And that is because afterwards you only have 2 more spending levels, so it will not give you a very good value anymore. So if you get it before level 4, it's insanely strong. You really need it. Another really good AoE skill, and your target will take almost 50% more skill damage instantly. But that is only if you have the skill that lets you have all AoE commanders, so the AoE core blessing, plus the 1000 rage skill at the start of the battle. But otherwise, it's still a very solid debuff to have. Another S tier is silence. You have a 10% chance to silence the target for 5 seconds. Well, your battle doesn't last that long usually because it is very easy to win. So this skill can be quite useful, but not always, because if you have a strong enemy, yeah, it is useful, but if you have a weak, like the green ones, they aren't useful at all. The last ones in the S tier list are um, the damage reduction buffs. So basically, back row damage reduction buffs, those are the best, because the back row troops of the enemy, these last the longest. And these do the most damage because you target their front row troops first, you know. So their back row troops can keep firing at you. So you want to reduce the back row troops damage first if you have the choice between the two. Okay, and troop damage reduction is really good in general here. You really want it because you take less damage and you can last longer without healing. On the A tier list we have this skill, which is also available in health and in attack, and of course health is the best, then defense and then attack. This skill is really good because you gain like 30% of stats for free for all troops, which is really nice, really solid, really good. Moving on to the next one, we have this skill that removes a shield from you every 5 seconds and you deal a lot of damage. And you can see it in the following picture, and there you see that the golden shield skill does 61,000 damage, almost the same of Anchor, which is really solid. Maybe it should have been tier S, but I've already placed it this way. This skill lets you get a shield. You have a 10% chance with the basic attack to get the shield damage factor 2, which also improves the skill we discussed before. So this small shield might get removed and you might deal a lot of damage. Now we're coming at the more damage. So these are the skills that improve your all damage. The all damage buff in general was of course the best, and this one can be even better if you have it before floor 4 or before floor 8. Otherwise it's not going to do much for you. But before floor 4 you can get up to like 20% more damage, which is really solid, and then it is better. But afterwards, I would try to choose something else. In this case, you see on the right, I chose the other skill because that was one of the best skills in the game. Universal Shelter also gives some all damage, but only for your front row. The next skill here improves your basic attack damage by 200%, or your next turn by 200%, but it has only a 15% chance to trigger, which is not a lot, and that is like 2,000, 3,000 extra damage. It's not that much. And we have 3% all damage to finish off. Next up are the rage skills. Of course, rage reduction is what you want first. So first we show the rage reduction skills here, and then we show the skills that give you rage actually. So in this order it's from best to lowest, because usually you already have enough rage, but you really need rage in general. And you do want a lot of rage because there is no rage cap, so you can cast your skills like crazy. That's the target which you want to have. Next up is 20% more normal damage, basic solid buff, not that good. With this next skill you do 1,000 damage factor every 10 seconds, but your battle will only last like 15 seconds, so you only have it once every battle, which is not that good. Here we have percentage chance debuffs, like normal debuffs, attack, health, defense reduction, which is solid, but it's not the best. But you definitely want to choose it over other members from the C tier, D tier, or E tier. On the C tier we have front row or back row troop stats, and of course health is the best in general, and then defense and then attack. On the back row troop, the back row you usually want some more attack because your back row troops doesn't get targeted because your enemy doesn't break through the lines through your front row line. So your back row troop can just get a lot of attack and a lot of all damage stats to keep firing because they won't get hit by skills, only by some AoE skills, but not that much as the front row. And that is also why the front row needs some defense and some health. Also attack. Of course, the front row is the row that you're gonna buff the most because it's, well, the most tanky. It needs to deal a lot of damage and to take a lot of damage. Moving on to the D tier, we have the basic attack, defense, health for a troop type. And well, in general, you are not using more as three marches of one single troop type, right? So the other one that we discussed earlier with the front row, back row are going to be better in general. but still this can be better as some other skills. I think I forgot to mention, but enemy attack, defense, or health reductions, these are better and belong in B tier. Lastly is the E tier, which contains a lot of healing skills, like this one. When less than 20% of your troop strength remain, gain a healing effect. Yeah, it's a huge healing effect, but to be realistic, my troops don't get ever under 20% because I'm always winning, so I don't need this skill. Next skill gives you also healing, a healing factor 2000 every 25 seconds on the front row. Well, it's cool, but my battles are over in like 16 seconds, so I don't get any use of this skill. Yeah, if you go 1v1 against the final boss, yeah, then you need this skill definitely. And here we have another healing skill. It only improves healing effects, so I don't need it because I barely use healing commanders. So now we're done with the tiers and I'm gonna tell you how to fight. Here you have something that I use. I just mirror the enemy basically. That's basically it. My big damage dealers are behind. And those are also less tanky usually. And my more tanky infantry marches are usually in front. And you don't want to have it like in sometimes in Canyon you have 1v4 on one side and 4v1 on your side, and you don't want it here because then your march will die very quickly. In this case, I want to let my Guan win ASAP so it can join the battle against the big group, so I just place it back in front. So that's basically it. For 5 marches you want a square plus 1 loose. And for 6 marches I use this 3 Zhuge with YSG and 3 Guans either with CPO or one with Alex. I really recommend using the Guan CPO and Zhuge YSG and also maybe the Nevsky Joan combinations because these are simply the best for this. You really want AoE because you use the AoE skills. So the AoE weaker like Zhuge go behind and the infantry ones are more tanky usually and go in front. Another tip that helps me winning is clear every single floor and clear every single dude. Even that dude right there in the top corner, clear it. Yeah, floor 9, completely cleared. I took a few screenshots, completely cleared some stages. The reason why I do it is because you will have an enormous amount of buffs and debuffs that you can choose, like the skills, the blessings. You really want those. You also get a lot of coins which you can use later on floor 4, 8, 12 and 16. So this is really working pretty well for me. And here you can see what I buy usually. I buy the healing, I buy the damage reduction, I buy the damage arrow thing. That's basically what I buy, and on this floor I just bought everything. Moving on to the commanders, you just want to have AoE commanders that do a lot of skill damage. For example, as you can see here, Zhuge YSG, or Guan CPO, or like CPO Liu Che, or do I forget one? Yeah, Nevsky Joan, for example. So you want those. That's what you basically want when you can recruit troops. Here we see a few battle reports, and I'm gonna say why I selected these. In this report on the left side, we see 000, and that is because one of the first skills that I explained, the one that you get a shield. Here you have it as well. When you get a shield at the beginning of the match for like 20 seconds, you barely take any damage, so you can take on even more of the green dudes and get free buffs basically. So that's what you want. And you also see the battle timer, 15 seconds. These battles simply don't last long. So another one, 3 times a 0, I barely took damage here. And on the right side you can see Anchor doing its work, 42,000 damage, which is quite nice considering like I see Zhuge there only got 700 kills, which is not a lot because it didn't hit and the battle was over before Zhuge was into fight. Here we can see Golden Shield in effect. And Golden Shield was the skill that removed one of your shields and let your enemy take a lot of damage. Here we see it like 40k, the last one was in the 60k, which is really good. It's like 10% of the enemy total units, so that's nice. Here we see 73k, and as you can see, none of these battles has lasted over 25 seconds, so we didn't need the healing buffs really. Next up is the fog. Yeah, the towers are an issue sometimes. You want to go in a straight path, get to them ASAP and destroy them, and then head to destroy the fog. Also, just attack the barbarian in front of it, doesn't really matter. Here we see a gameplay of me in the last level, and then you can get an idea of what I do. The most healthy marches, I put them in front in the block, against the block, and I put the skill damage dealing commanders behind. So 3 times Guan and 3 times Zhuge. And Zhuge is behind, dealing a lot of damage. And this works pretty well. I fought like 20-30 times, and it's only 2 yellow commanders right here. And I also have like a lot of healing. Here I can choose attack because the other stats are not good, and attack is for the archers. It improves their skill damage as well, and that's what you want in this case, because your archers don't need much defense or health here, because they're back row anyways. Guardian minion, clear that out, take a random skill, back row troops, stats. We take everything out. It doesn't matter if it's purple, it's green, just take everything out on all floors, because the debuffs will be worth it, or buffs. Also with the healing hut, I almost never do the healing hut. I do the blessing, which gives me a random buff. And well, it's not always a good one, but I don't need the healing often because my gameplay is just good, I guess. Another healing hut, and that means like the boss is on the final spot, is it? Infantry health, which is good stuff. Yeah, there's the boss. Another blessing then. Not useful at all. You don't want single target skills because they don't help anything. We can do we can do like one more healing. Okay, let's just show how good my setup is. I can fight with 2 marches, maybe even with 1. Let's try 2 for the final boss. Let me delete them. Come on. Yeah, there we go. We're going with Sargon Scipio and 1 Zhuge YSG. And that's it, okay? Against 5 of the enemy. I could have won with only 1 march, but to take a little smaller risk, I just decided to go with 2. Okay, there we go. Skip the battle. 3, 2, 1. Boom, victory, and we barely took damage. Like, it's not even yellow. That's how strong my tactic is usually with the skills. So here we can choose, influential leader. That one is one that you want in the beginning. Screenshot it for this video that I'm making currently. But yeah, you don't use it on last floor. But I didn't get it earlier, so that was a small issue. I might have forgotten a few of the skills, quite a few I think, and they will be on my Discord, and you can enter there down with the link down below. Here we can see a collection of skills, but it's hard to see because there is almost no description. But as you can see, there are many skills from all the green barbarians that I attacked there. So I ended up with like 31 million power, which is good. It's not a personal record, but it's good. So basically that was it for today. It was a very long video, but please leave that like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.